What's up guys, Jim Collector here, back again with another unboxing and review, and today we have the epic battle damage Darth Vader, and I really wanted to say 2.0 but this is the first of its kind. As you can tell, I'm really excited for this figure. This just looks absolutely beastly. So guys, without further ado, let's get stuck right into the unboxing.
Alright, so here we go, let's get stuck in. As you guys can see, this box is massive. I mean, just look at the size of my hand compared to the actual figure. It's absolutely ridiculous how huge this is. Now let's quickly go through the outside of the box. Obviously you have Star Wars down here, and then you've got the normal Star Wars Darth Vader Battle Damage Deluxe version down there as well. As you notice, there is no link to any specific film because this is kind of a what if mythos style Vader. And then we've got a bit more of the figure down the side, all the information on who did what, as well as the different shops that they have, and of course the shiny Disney logo, and then more of the same on the wraparound. And that's pretty much all we have. The nice Hot Toys special edition up the top there as well, and then we slide this off somehow. There you go. Once you slide that cover off, you do get this really nice artwork inside. And again, this is more photos of the actual figure with obviously a fake USB, but God, that would make a really nice poster right there, wouldn't it? Look at it. And you've got all the same information on here as well, so we're not going to dwell on this one too much, but it does now slide out just like so. And guys, this box is pretty snug because this is not easy to do. Come on. Come on, you big, beautiful bugger. Ugh, jeez. Bloody hell. All right, no, that was not easy at all. Okay, so you've got more artwork here, very similar to what we just saw, just a slight variation. Still got the Death Star at the top, which I don't mind, but again, this is an actual foam inlay, so possible display piece. There we are. And here we have the figure itself, and we have kind of the traditional DX style packaging that we're used to, or similar to seeing with an Artisan. Let's have a quick look at Vader. We're not going to do a lot of detail in this section because we will of course do that later on during the unboxing. But there you go. We still got some plastic bits we need to remove, but you can see that incredible burnt up Hayden Christensen head sculpt right there. Look at that, that looks beautiful. You have the arm here as well. And again, unlike what we've seen in previous Anakins, these aren't articulated. The fingers, they are sculpted as they are. But look at all that metal work through there. All the damage and scarring, all the tattering on the cape as well. And that metal leg is beautiful. Damn, this looks epic. But there, of course, so we get the figure. What else do we get in here? We get the normal obligatory accessory tray right here. Let's have a quick ganders at these. So there you go. Now this is the deluxe special edition, so you do get this extra bit of the damaged helmet here, which I'm really looking forward to seeing how this kind of looks on here. You got that nice kind of, what is that, a green or a red tint to the lens there? Interesting, but as you can see, it is sculpted on the inside as well, which is really nice. Don't get a lot in the way of hands. You get 3 gloved hands and you get 3 different robotic hands as well, as you can see there. Then you get the 2 different sabers, 1 USB-C, 1 standard, and then the kind of more saturated red from previous Darth Vaders. This is a much more saturated red, so it stands out a bit more even when it's not lit up, and maybe it will help the actual light up function as well. We will have to see. All right, so that's it for the first tray. Of course, you do get your instruction manual. Oh, and here is his standard cape. So we'll have a quick look at this. There we go. So this is the standard cape that you get with Darth Vader, the battle damaged one. So it is nicely done. I like the kind of paint and work they've done to weather this up. I always find the actual rip bits do look like someone's just attacked it with some scissors. It doesn't look very natural, but I find that's been with every cape. But this is one of the nicer looking ones, so I do enjoy that. It is slightly different to the Kenobi one. There isn't that rip in the back like we saw, but it is a nice dual material, so there are 2 layers to this as well. It's got some nice weight to it as well, so it should drape quite nicely. I would have liked to see a wire in this. Oh my gosh, there is a wire. Look at that. There's actually a wire in this cape, but it's a very flimsy wire. That will not do much to hold up because the fabric's quite heavy. This wire is pretty rubbish to hold up the weight of the cape, so that's a bit disappointing. We'll probably futz around with that more in the posing section. Instructions. Right then, let's see what's under this next tray. I think I'll take this whole bit out and then move the box out of the way. Oh, there we go. Keeping things raw with this unboxing, as I always tend to like to do, so you can see the whole unboxing process. It's a bit tedious, this one, I won't lie. It's a little bit tedious because there's a lot to it. And it's a huge box, so it's hard to maneuver. All right, so first, let's do Vader sculpts, or helmet sculpts. There you go. This is the clean helmet sculpt, although there is some kind of damage work throughout it as well, so it's not completely clean. There is a nice bit of damage and weathering. Strong paint smell on this as well. I guess that's probably from the kind of metallic brush they've put to kind of show like it's like dirt and like, I don't know, like laser burn or something on there. It's quite nicely done. Good work. And then we do of course have the battle damaged helmet right here, which is similar to the Kenobi, but not the same. The Kenobi one goes pretty much all the way up. This is just a crack around the eye. I'm not completely sure which one I prefer. Let's check. So here's the 2 different kind of battle damage sculpts. Obviously you've got the Kenobi sculpt on the right and then the new one on the left. And yeah, they're quite different overall, I would say. They're both pretty decent. Which one do you guys prefer? I think I almost prefer the Kenobi one. I like the extra damage work that they've done on this over this one. But then this makes more sense for this because he does just get the damage from the one battle. This looks like he's been on a longer, more arduous battle throughout. Obviously he took a lightsaber strike here. It'll be interesting to see how this got cracked on this one. But yeah, there we go. So that's the 2 different sculpts. I'll let you guys be the decider on what your favorite one is. One thing to note, his eye looks a bit more orange on this one compared to this. I don't know if that's accurate, but interesting. It is interesting to note that it does have the same kind of inner bit as a Kenobi one. So you see this is damaged all the way up. This one is the same. So they're very similar from this point, but this one is more of a metallic paint job to it. It's like a lighter metal than the Kenobi one. You can see it here, this is darker. This one is a little bit lighter than the one from Kenobi. One thing to note quickly, if you do take the helmet off, it's a pain in the butt to kind of realign it to get it to sit on. It took me a good 30-40 seconds just to do that just now, but just something to note. All right, next off, let's check out, oh, maybe I should have done the cape first. Let's check out this kind of diorama style base, because if I'm honest, I absolutely love this base. This is something different, something that's taken a bit of work from Hot Toys. I like that it tilts, which can alter the poses as well, change how it works, the dynamism. I don't know what word I'm trying to say there, but yeah, this is really nice. Lots of intricate details as well throughout with the tubing here. And of course it does light up all around the rim. So I'm looking forward to getting this plugged in to see what that kind of looks like. And then you've got the slot for the crotch grabber as well, which is over here. And in this slot, you do get the standard bits for the light up saber, the box. And you get this additional little slot here, which apparently is to help with this large cape, which we'll take a look at now. This is the reason the box is so freaking big. Look at the size of this. This is huge. And then of course you can see that Vader silhouette right there. I absolutely love the creativity of this as well. It's nice and stylized. Absolutely adore it. I wish the cape looked a little bit less plasticky in hand. It's pretty awesome, but it does have kind of a plastic look, and it does feel a little bit flimsy. I'm a bit worried about some of these bits here, if it ever tumbles, snapping off. The chain as well, looking at it, is kind of a very undetailed plastic, and you can see this seam line right around it here, which gives me some concern because this cape's fairly heavy, and it's obviously quite heavy to one side, so all the weight is on the left side here rather than this side. So when it's propped up, it's quite heavy here. So that's probably why, if you use this, you'll definitely need the crotch grabber, and you'll also need this to help distribute the weight a lot. But it does look nice. I do like the tattered bits at the ends. The paintwork throughout is quite nice to kind of mix with the rest of Vader. Once I got it on, I want to see how it looks, with this being obviously not a soft goods and the rest of him being soft goods. So that'll be quite interesting to see. But guys, that is everything that comes with this figure. What we're going to do now is we're going to get this guy set up, we're going to pose him up, and then we're going to take a look at all the details in much more detail. We're going to take a closer look at this dude in just a sec. See you soon.
All right, and there he is, set up, posed up on that incredible diorama base. And you know what? This has to be one of the most epic, godly looking figures that I've ever had the pleasure of owning. It almost has statue presence when you do get it set up. And to be honest, statue's almost right. He is slightly limited in posing when you have him on this display, and he's definitely not a perfect figure by any means of the word, but it just looks so damn good when you have it on display. Very similar to that Sideshow Mythos statue that we've seen in the past, but there's so much to love just from like the exposed metallic leg, the battle damage, the ripped up nylon suit as well, glad it's nylon, all the weathering, damage throughout. It just looks absolutely incredible. And that head sculpt as well. That head sculpt is the bomb. And we'll take a closer look at that now. So here it is with the special edition extra helmet piece attached. I'll show you what it looks like without that in a bit, but I love this sculpt. All the battle damage and the scarring, the detailing of the damaged skin, and even the likeness to Hayden Christensen is really quite strong. I'm very impressed with this sculpt. I definitely do like it. Even the color of the eyes is more orange rather than yellow, but they work really well. Those lips are gnarly as well. They gross me out a little bit. Now, switching this off with the bit that you get with the regular version, which is just a small little extra bit on the side of his helmet, as you'll see right here. It looks pretty good, and you do get to see more of the head sculpt. Me personally, I prefer the other looks because it kind of keeps Vader in there a little bit more, but this is one hell of a way to rock that figure, as you see, and you get a really good look at that Christensen likeness here, and I think they just did an absolutely outstanding job. This head sculpt, 10 out of 10. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. For me, it's a 10 out of 10. And again, just like the weathering on this figure is so well done. You can see it on his chest box, on his belt as well. All the tearing of the nylon suit around the arm just looks absolutely fantastic. And those bits really pop on display as well, which is nice to see. And then of course you have this display cape, this awesome Darth Vader display cape. I do love it. It's a bit of a hindrance, but I love it. I love it a lot. Now, when it comes to the arm here, so as you'll see, so you're a bit limited with articulation at first, and this is kind of a flimsy plastic bit, of those black bits, so you need to be careful. But if you do pull on the bit at the bottom near the wrist, importantly, you can see it extends, and then you do actually get a bit more range of motion, which is really nice to see, so you can pose him a little bit better after doing so. So make sure you do give that a try when you get yours. Alright, so we're switching up the display now. Not a lot. Like I said, he's a bit limited in articulation when he's on this particular stand with the cape. But now we've switched it out for the other battle damaged helmet. And I love how this looks. This might be my go-to. It might be. Now, switching the heads is my first major issue with this. And that's not because of the actual mechanism itself, but it's because of the way the cape works. So you can see kind of around here, and because that's solid plastic, it really gets in the way when you're trying to push the head back on. Like, you have to apply it, and you'll see it in this video now, a lot of pressure, and it's almost concerning how hard you have to work. Like, I was scared I was going to break it as I was trying to pop the head sculpt back on. It was legitimately concerning. So you kind of have to slowly work it on there, be really careful as well, try and push the cape down as much as you can, but it doesn't go under his chest armor, which is an absolute pain. But when you do finally manage to get those head sculpts switched around, he looks epic. And all right, I'll be honest, I said a second ago that this is probably my go-to, but I'm so torn on how I want to display this because that other head sculpt's just too good to go to waste. I almost need a third one, but that's just ridiculous. I can't have 3 Vaders. Can I? Can I? No, don't be crazy. I can't. But it does look epic on display, and I do like this battle damage helmet as well. It's different to the Kenobi one, and we'll look at a comparison between those later. But I really like how this one looks. Very reminiscent of Rebels, you know, with Ahsoka. So it reminds me a lot of how that looks. And here's a close-up look of it. You can see it's a smaller, that like the damage doesn't go all the way up the helmet like it does from the Kenobi. This is more like a crack in the faceplate. But I like how it completes that kind of Vader aesthetic and silhouette as well. I think that works really well, and you still get that kind of evil, freaky eye poking through. And I really like the battle damage that they have throughout the helmet here as well, the extra pitting, and also just like the paint speckling and the kind of rust and dust that they have on it. It looks really nice and really well done. They put a lot of detail. They didn't just kind of half-ass this one. They really put their all into making sure that this figure looked as epic as it can. Alright, and we're kind of moving on to our last pose now, and I thought it would be criminal in a review if I didn't at least show off the wired cape as opposed just to the plastic cape. And this is the pose that I came up with. So actually, this is probably my favorite pose that I've done so far, and here you can see him kind of spinning around on the turntable. And during this video, actually, I wanted to do a kind of menacing looking walking pose, and I more or less have it here, but I couldn't get him to balance and rotate at the same time. But and I'll pop up a picture now that will show kind of how he is in my collection display at the moment. I have him in the detail in pretty much this exact pose. I actually have the clean Kenobi Vader pose up with the cape, and that also looks fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. But I really like his pose. There's like a simple power to a menacing walking pose, and this just works so well. I do like this battle damaged helmet, but I have been finding that I've actually been switching them out quite a lot, which is a lot easier to do when he hasn't got the plastic cape, when he just has this cape, which is nice to see. So he does pose up quite well. Again, he is limited compared to some other Vaders. Vaders aren't kind of the figure you want to do the most dynamic posing with, but at least he has a nylon suit now, so we don't have to worry as much about damage. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this wired quote-unquote cape, because it's pretty awful. Now, the battle damage is really nice, I'll give him that, but as you'll see here, the problem is the wires they've used are really thin. They're just really thin, they're not very strong, and the cape itself is really heavy, so it just kind of flops down. You can't do anything too meaningful with it. Now, obviously on the battle damage side, you know, they can't put a wire in the ripped bit, but on this side, you see how it just kind of flops? It doesn't do anything. If you compare it to like the in-art Superman cape, this is pretty atrocious. So it does kind of work to an extent. It's better than nothing, but they really need to work on their wired cape for this figure. I think third party may be the way that I'll go eventually, but it'll be hard to find a battle damaged one, which is frustrating. Alright, so here we have the Kenobi Vader on the left, and then the battle damage on the right. And I'll be straight with you guys, the Kenobi Vader was my first ever pre-order that I got since like, you know, starting collecting. So it held like a strong place in my heart. But then I got this battle damage one, and I was planning to sell the Kenobi Vader because, you know, I don't need 2 Vaders. I've decided that yes, I do need 2 Vaders, because obviously with the deluxe Kenobi I get the clean look. So now I have the clean looking Vader and a battle damage looking Vader. And the best thing about this is the Kenobi head, you can just pop it onto the new Vader head. So all the different head sculpts are pretty much interchangeable, which is really, really nice to see. So I like that quite a lot. Even the Anakin head, yeah, that is interchangeable as well, so you can even switch them over. But yeah, I just like having both. And of course I have the clean Vader displayed on the new base with the plastic cape as well, and that's just a really epic Vader look. We're going to punch into the details of the helmets again. We've looked at these before, but I just wanted to point out that there is a difference in, I'm going to call it the dome part of his helmet. The one on the left is more reminiscent of what we've seen in the films, and then the one on the right is a more stylized one that we've seen in the likes of Rebels and the Clone Wars and stuff like that. So that's pretty neat, and it's just nice to see the differences in designs and where they got that from. And I do have a surprise third comparison figure, and it is, of course, burnt Anakin. I put the burnt up Anakin head on the artisan Anakin body. That's what I did. I'm very, very creative. Interesting use of the head sculpt. It doesn't quite work with the neck connector, but if you did want an alternate use, you want to display all of these head sculpts, you can. So it is interesting to see that you can disconnect that head as well fully from the Vader mask, and it is a fully complete head sculpt. So if you did wonder about that, this is how it will look. I'll be honest, I'm probably going to put the artisan head back on and never do this again. But there you go. You can see what it looks like without the Vader helmet attached to it. So there we go. Alright guys, so with that said, it's time to give our rating on this figure. Now, there are definite pros to it. It looks incredible on display. You have a nylon suit, multiple display options, which is really nice. And I didn't even actually show the clean head sculpt that you get with this as the third helmet option, probably because I actually don't plan to use it. In fact, I think that's probably the most useless of the sculpts. It doesn't fit with the rest of the battle damage, for me at least, so I did leave it out. There are some negatives. The cape is actually quite impractical, the big plastic cape. The wired cape is pretty atrocious. They might as well have almost just kept it a drape cape. It is limited in articulation as well, and unfortunately the gauntlets are still an absolute nightmare to add on, and it's also slightly disappointing that the hands on his robotic arm are fixed. But with all that said, for me, I'm going to give this figure a very fair rating, I think, of 8 out of 10. And that tends to be a similar rating for a lot of my figures. I think that's because I'm quite picky with what I pick up. I pick up what I love, and I let things that I don't necessarily love slip out of the collection. And that's why probably it's a high rating a lot this time. But nonetheless, I think this is definitely worth an 8 out of 10. It could be improved, but it's a step in the right direction. It is a bit on the pricey side. It's probably the most expensive Vader we've had, but it's a worthy addition to the collection. That base just on its own is fantastic. I'd like to see more bases like that. So guys, as always, this has been Jim Collector. Thanks for sticking around and watching this video, and I hope to see you again in a video soon. Peace out.